this exercise really cemented that vibe coding is is a powerful tool. But yeah, it's like if you lean too hard on it, you can get really lost in the sauce. Like you, I couldn't tell you anything about the architecture of the code. I couldn't tell you about like specific decisions that it made or anything. So it's like you need to either supplement with a functioning human or I guess add more AI tools.
If you're building something with AI and it's going to have data sources, you have to explicitly say which data sources to use, and explicitly say things like, give me citations, give me links, make sure I understand where you're getting all the data from. Otherwise, it makes things up and you don't, well, is it really making things up, or is it scraping, or is it pulling from the model? Like, it's hard to know, but being able to validate that data and trust that data is a bit sketchy.
What we tried to take an approach was kind of like a one shot prompts to build an app with everything we want in it, and then slowly start to like try to fix and iterate and add things it didn't add that we wanted on it, or bugs that are happening, which probably is not the right or best process to take for this. The better approach, if we had the time, would be to use Code Guide, put the documents into your project, use something like Cursor that references those documents, and you sort of work on more of like a ticket or feature-based approach.
I was surprised that a tool like V0, which is primarily thought of as like a design and front end only kind of tool, was able to get as far as integrating with a music API, where it was able to make requests to that API's database and get music coming back into the app. We didn't do any coding at all. It was all just prompting. I was very surprised by that. And I would say it made it like 40% of the way there on WebSockets, maybe farther than that, which I was also surprised by. I would say so far, I've been impressed at like the prompt only tooling at how far it can get in creating these applications.
This is like a serious opportunity for us because our price points, our entry level price points are so high. And that is like the number one thing that is prohibitive to us signing business. So it's like, if we can, when we scope things, it's like, there is easily $25,000-$30,000 that immediately happens from like standing up a code base and like putting it on a server. So it's like, if we can bring that barrier down, that's huge. Like from a cost perspective and like being able to win business, you know?
I'm optimistic about Claude Code being a very powerful like tool for using our tech stack to spin up prototypes so that we can get like quick iterations and like demos out of what an application could be. I think Claude might be the most powerful tool. The stuff that's coming back has been pretty promising. I think what I take away from this is if we can get the code guide creating very clear documentation and then use some type of tool, whatever that might be, to then turn that documentation into scope and that scope into tickets, and then those tickets into prompts, and then those prompts into like Cursor guided by people that know the code, know how to like split up modules and all that kind of stuff. You could quickly iterate on creating very maintainable, extensible code. We would have a high degree of understanding of what we are building, and then could iterate on from, okay, that was a great $5,000 prototype. Now let's get you the $20,000 MVP and onward. But I think it really, like, there really has to be this clear architecture explanation, and then boiling that down into tasks that a dev specifically oversees an AI doing in something like Cursor.